Again, good morning, and thank you for being here this morning as we gather around our holy altar as a family this morning. Today on this Feast of the Holy Family, I share with you two letters that two famous women wrote back and forth to each other. One is Martha Stewart. I hope all of you know who Martha Stewart is. She's that guru that sells all that stuff at Kmart and at Macy's, and she can make all kinds of things look amazing. And the other is Irma Blombeck. Irma Blombeck was a newspaper columnist, and she oftentimes responded to people. People would write to her about problems, and she would respond telling them what to do. So I share with you a letter that Martha wrote to Irma. And Martha writes, "Dear Irma, this perfectly delightful note is being sent on paper that I made myself to tell you what I have been up to. Since it snowed last night, I got up early and made a sled out of old barn wood and a glue gun. I hand-painted it in gold leaf, got out my loom, and made a blanket in peaches and mauves. Now it's time to start making placemats and napkins for the 20-plus people that will be joining me for breakfast. I'm serving the standard 12-course breakfast. I didn't have time to make a new table and chairs, so my guests will have to use the ones that I already have. I did take time this morning to make dishes to be used for breakfast from Hungarian clay, which you can get at almost any Hungarian craft store. Well, I must run. God bless you, and take care. Love and kisses, Martha Stewart." So Irma Blombeck writes back to Martha, "Dear Martha, I'm writing this on the back of an old shopping list. Pay no attention to the coffee and jelly stains all over it. I'm already 20 minutes late getting my kids up for school, packing lunches with one hand, on the phone with the vet on the other because the dog is sick again. I burnt my arm on the oven, and I still can't find those scissors needed to make those goofy little snowflakes. I tried using an old disposable razor, and in the process I destroyed the tablecloth. I tried making that frozen cranberry dish, and I ended up blowing up the microwave. Don't use Fruity Pebbles as a substitute in that Rice Krispie snowball recipe unless you happen to like a disgusting shade of green. The smoke alarm is going off. Talk to you later, Irma." My dear family, as we come together on this Feast of the Holy Family, I think when we think of the Holy Family, we're thinking of the Martha Stewart image, aren't we? Of everything being perfect. But today, I'm hoping that with God's help, I can show you that the Holy Family was more like the Irma Blombeck image. Not always perfect, going through life struggling. If we look at the Holy Family, and if we think about that beautiful opening prayer, the collect of the Mass, the collect says, "May we imitate the Holy Family in practicing the virtues of family life." Now, when we think about that prayer, we're thinking of the Martha Stewart image, aren't we? How are we, ordinary everyday Joes, going to imitate the Holy Family? Mary was a virgin, Joseph was a celibate, and Jesus was God. How the heck are we going to imitate them in practicing the virtues of family life? Well, I share with you two virtues that they practiced and we can practice as well. Christmas can be full of hassles. They embrace the hassles in their life. Think about the hassles. Mary finds out that she's expecting. She tells Joseph, and he doesn't know what to do. They embrace the child that's coming, and now the king decides that he's going to come up with some sort of new tax. Now, while Mary is pregnant, they have to travel to Bethlehem, another hassle. But they also have to come up with the money for the tax. A huge hassle they weren't expecting. They travel to Bethlehem, and there's no place for them to stay. Another hassle. The child's born, and you'd think that would be the end of it, but today we're told in today's gospel that as the child was born, the Lord appears to Joseph in a dream and says, "Rise, take the child and his mother and flee to Egypt and stay there until I tell you." Talk about another huge hassle. Now what would we do? I think if it was us, we would pray, "Enough is enough, God. I can't take any more. Why can't you just zap Herod, not come out of the picture, and help protect Jesus and Mary and myself?" But did you see what Joseph did? He embraced the hassle. We're told Joseph rose, took the child and mother by night, and they departed for Egypt. Off they went for Egypt. He listened to God. He embraced God. So number one, they embraced the virtues of hassles, if you call that a virtue. The second thing they did was embrace the hurts in their lives. They embraced an awful lot of hurts. And I think all of us have hurts as well. So Mary is told that she's going to expect this child. Can you imagine all the hurts that she experienced? Everybody started talking about her. Here she was, not married yet, and they're talking. They're pointing the finger at her because she's expecting this child. Then they're pointing the finger at Joseph. How did he do this? How did he allow to do it? Why did he divorce her? More hurts are experienced. Then they try to find a place to stay, to give birth to that child, and nobody will allow them in. They're turned away. Another huge hurt. And there's hurt after hurt after hurt that they're going to continue to experience. But probably a big hurt that is experienced is what happens because of today. Because the Christ child was told in a very powerful way through his father Joseph to flee to Egypt, the Christ child was saved, but many other children died. Another huge hurt. Another huge hurt in a powerful way. My dear family, if we look at what they did, they embraced those hurts time and time again, embracing God in their lives. So what can we learn from them? Embrace the hassles, embrace the hurts, but most importantly, have lives full of hope. Have lives full of hope. Today's gospel, we're told that they stayed there, and when Herod had died, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Rise, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel. For those who sought the child's life are dead." That was the beginning of the hope-filled hearts that Mary and Joseph and the child Jesus had. So many hopes in their hearts. My dear family, as we gather here today, we're called to embrace those hopes as well. The beautiful reading that Martha read from St. Paul, it told us in a very special way about the virtues of life. And it said, above all of these, put on love. Put on love. That's how the Holy Family went through the hassles. That's how the Holy Family went through all the hurts, because they put on love. Christmas Eve was amazing here. The amount of people that packed our church both upstairs and downstairs. And at the 4 o'clock children's mass upstairs, a little Christmas miracle happened for all of us. I invited all the kids to come forward, and one little boy was dragging his younger brother forward. And as they were coming around the church and as they got to the baptismal font, the little boy wiped out, and the older brother kept dragging him. While the little boy starts crying. Well, I was halfway back the aisle, so I went back and I said to the little boy, "It's all right. Don't cry. You don't have to cry tonight." And without even thinking, that little boy just grabbed a hold of me and gave me the biggest, strongest bear hug that little guy could do. and immediately his crying stopped. My dear family, that's what St. Paul is talking about when he says, put on love. My dear family, that's what the Holy Family did. To embrace the hassles, to embrace the hurt, they put on love. They embraced that love with a huge bear hug. What was that love? I think it's more like, who was that love? The who that love was is our God. And Jesus, Mary, and Joseph embraced our God, embraced his love with a huge bear hug that wasn't going to let go. And that's how they got through all the hassles and the hurts. And that's how they did it, with hope-filled hearts. So my dear family, as we gather around this holy altar this morning, we get to give that same God a huge bear hug when we receive him in the Eucharist this morning. But I don't think all of us truly appreciate what a bear hug he gives back to us when we receive him in the Eucharist. When we receive him, he's hugging us tighter than that little boy ever could hug. He's holding on to us just like he held on to Mary and Joseph, and just like he held on to his own son. So today, as we receive him in the Eucharist, our God's grabbing hold of us. Are you ready for that bear hug? Are you ready to embrace his love? If you truly throw open the doors of your hearts, we're all going to experience a love that is going to fill our hearts with joy, but most importantly, that's going to fill our hearts with a hope that only our God can give us.